Hi, this is Paula from the Knitting Pipeline podcast. I have been thinking for some time that I might do a video supplement occasionally for the audio cast, just to show you some things that I have already talked about, or maybe some things that are upcoming, and just for fun. So we'll see how it goes. It's weird looking at myself because I've done 231 episodes on audio and I don't see my face. So we'll see how this goes. But I am wearing my Perfect Retreat shawl by Susan B. Anderson. This is a triangular shawl with a lace border. I didn't complete the lace border because I ran out of this gorgeous cormo. It is from Carradine Farms. No, sorry, this is from Illinois. This is, well, snowplow. We got snow. Most everybody in Illinois did, Midwest. So it's from Clearview Farms. I will be showing you something from Carradine Farms, but it's from Clearview Farm in Illinois. I don't remember the name of the town, but it's a really small operation. And I lift it up here so you can see it's really nice triangular shawl. And I love the cormo. So comfortable to wear, and this is just a nice cozy shawl. The other thing I'm wearing is my Hito Fude, which a lot of people have heard of, seen. I wear it a lot. It is in Carol Sunday's yarn called Nirvana. It has cashmere in it, so it's really nice. Some time ago, I did a design for Quince & Company. It is called Sister Bay, and I just received my samples back from them, so I thought I'd show you those in case you are not familiar with it. This is in Iceland, I believe, is the gray. It's one of the heathery grays. And then the applied border is in egret, which is their natural. Oops. And an applied border you knit along the edge like so. So I got to stay in the frame there. So it's a good beginning lace project because you never have more than less than 20 stitches, I think, on this one on your needles, and it is a crescent. The other sample I did is in camel and bird's egg, which I love, brown and blue, brown and pink together. I think I'm showing you yeah, that's it. I don't think it makes much difference, but this is the right side. It is garter stitch. It's super simple to do. That is Sister Bay. Should have thought about a place to put these down when I'm finished with them. The other shawl I have talked about on the show recently is Summertide. That was our ice machine refrigerator background. This is Summertide by Helen Stewart, but I didn't knit the whole one because I had another yarn. It's a 2-color shawl, and I had another yarn to go with it, and I chickened out. So I just made a smaller shawlette with it, and it is a gift. And I know she will like this, the size that it is. But I do want to make one in the 2 colors. So I'll show you what I have picked out for that. You might remember if you listened to my audio cast that Seven Sisters Arts was at our main retreat, and she did an indigo dye workshop. So this is what I purchased from her, one of the things I purchased from her. It is her Matrika base in Lodestar is the blue, that's this one, and then Platinum is the silver, and I think these two would look pretty together in the Summertide. It is 80% merino superwash and 20% silk, so it's going to drape really well, and I think I will get started on that pretty soon for the Summertide. I don't usually do the same shawl back to back. Well, it's not exactly back to back. I've done other projects in between, but I just really want that big lacy shawl in the 2 colors. This is also Seven Sisters Arts in the same color, but it looks a little different because it does not have a silk in it. And this is her sport weight in Lodestar. And so I have, each one of these is 252. So I have about 750 yards. If you have an idea, I'm looking for one for this sport weight yarn. I think I'll just say here that I'm in our dining room, which we call music room or library because we have bookshelves in here. We only use it for a dining room when we have a big crowd and we need overflow space. My husband's piano's over there, and we have bookshelves on, well, 2 walls, and then there's a window over here with a love seat there and the piano. So it's a nice room, and I thought the light was good in here. I might, if I do this again, which this is a test, so I don't know, but if I do it again, I might record on the porch. But I knew the lighting seemed pretty good here today. In the background, oops, that's the other side. On the background there, you'll see a quilt that I made about 5 years ago, and it's just a straight patchwork charm pack with Civil War reproduction fabrics. And then the room back there is, back there, everything's reversed. That is my husband's study and guest bedroom. And my great-grandfather, Henry Finger, made that bed and table there. And then the mirror, oh, I got the right hand this time. The mirror there says Henry Finger Furniture on it, Marissa, Illinois. He was he had a furniture store and a funeral home. And so that was a piece of advertising. So that's where I am in my house here. The other thing, I recently made some things to send off to my great niece and nephew. This is the Durgar hat, D-U-E-R-G-A-R, or Durgan, I think. I think it's G-A-N, how they say that. It is from Tin Can Knits. It is a collection, and I can't think of the name of the collection. No, it's not Tin Can Knits. Oh, sorry. No, take that back. The other thing I'm making is Tin Can Knits. This is Head to Toe by Katja Frankel. Oh, yeah, that's right. Head to Toe by Katja Frankel. So glad I should have some notes next time I do this so I get everything right the first time. But it has a twisted rib at the bottom and then twisted rib on the side panels. So there you can see. The only thing I did differently is that the top of this called for a 3-needle bind off, and I did a Kitchener stitch across here. So that's how it's finished off. And I love this. It's so great the way it kind of folds and flat a little bit. So that's for the 18-month-old little girl, and then this is for her brother. It looks huge here. He does have a pretty good size head for a 3-year-old, but I got his head measurements, and I know that this is going to fit him. And the last hat I made for him, that little guy just wore that thing all the time. He wore it. He just loved it. So this is Malabrigo worsted in the Polar Morn colorway, and it's really pretty. It has that variation in it. It's a single, so it will pill, but I figured that doesn't really matter for hats, and it's super soft. And then, of course, they had to have mittens to go with that. I didn't use any pattern on this. It's just my normal mitten that I've done so many times. But I did do the twisted rib down at the bottom on the cuff. I thought about maybe continuing the twisted rib up here along the side, but I didn't. And there's quite a bit of variation in this particular skein of Polar Morn. So I have one more pair of mittens on the needles right now. I did the cuffs last night and just need to finish that off, and then those can go off to Minnesota. I did make them a little bit big, by the way, because I think the mittens, anyway, I'm going to felt them just a little bit. I'll do that by hand, of course, because I don't want them to get too thick. But I think that for the Minnesota winters, they need a bulletproof kind of mitten. And again, this is Durgan, D-U-E-R-G-A-N, by Katja Frankel in the Head to Toe book. I did review that some time ago, and I'm really glad that I did make something out of it. And there's some others that I have now in my queue from that collection. I'm going to see my sister in a couple of days, and I made this for her, so I wanted to show it to you. This is one of my Rhinebeck purchases. The yarn is. It is from Carradine Farms, and it is a gradient. as you can see, if you look closely, the gradient is very, very gradual. Here's the top of the shawl and here's the bottom. So it's not a real obvious one. The shawl is by Helen Stewart. It's called Odessa Shawl. And I love it. If you like Helen's patterns, this doesn't have all that many projects on Ravelry. I hope Helen doesn't mind my saying that, but it doesn't. And I think it's neglected a little bit. So if you're a Helen fan, you might want to check this one out because I think it's gorgeous and it was very fun to knit, as all of her patterns are. And I know my sister will love this. Pink is her favorite color, so I'm excited to give that to her in a couple of days. So I haven't talked about this on the audio yet, but I will be, but that way you can see it. Let's see, there we go. That is Odessa by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. And I love Helen's patterns. Okay, one more thing. I thought it'd be kind of fun if I do this again. We'll see how it goes. I've gone a whole 11 minutes already. Not already, because I'm almost done. This is a blast from the past. I thought that would be fun occasionally. This is one of my husband's favorite sweaters. It is done in the Elizabeth Zimmerman EPS. I did it. And I used Blackberry Ridge Woolen Mills. And I had some odd skeins that I'd made some sweaters. And so it's kind of a stash buster. The sleeve, you can see here, I joined two colors and tried to make it so these sleeves are knit from the cuff up. I have a tag in here I made out of seam binding, and it says 2002 on the tag, so I know that that's how long he's had this, and he wears it all the time. He wears it to school, he wears it to rake leaves, and it's probably the sweater that gets washed the most throughout the year because he wears it so much. And let's see if you can see that. This is not the first time he's worn out the neck because his beard on his neck just is kind of like sandpaper, kind of saws away at it. So this is kind of ready for repair. I hope he doesn't wear this to school until I get it repaired because that wouldn't be too great. But I have some of the yarn set aside because I know with his sweaters, the neck and the cuffs really need to be repaired. But this is a workhorse of a sweater. And he has a lot of sweaters, but I think it's probably his favorite. Let me look at my pile here. I think I have talked about everything that I have, and this is kind of a test run, so we'll see how it goes and see if anybody watches, if you like it. I was thinking of doing this maybe every 4 to 6 weeks, just a little supplement for the audio podcast. And thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And you can find me on Ravelry. The show blog is knittingpipeline.com. And I will list these projects in, well, I'll maybe put some of them, but everything will be talked about or has been talked about on the audio. So thanks so much.